Okay, so now that this rendering is pretty close to done, I still need to add some highlights on this trim, but I wanted to show you how to do the background. And what I want to do is take an existing photo and alter it and fit it in the back of my rendering. So I'm going to go to my gallery and I'm going to create a new file. And I found this image that is a painting of New York City. And I want to use this and alter it. So I'm going to make it bigger and fill the whole page here. Okay. And then I'll deselect that. And I want to blur it out so it's not literally the painting. I just want to use it as an easy way to get started. So I'm going to select, I like this gray blue. And there's a couple paintbrush options that we can do. I'm gonna go to spray paint because this one has a nice stipply texture. And let's see what size. Let's do big and kind of opaque. And I'm just gonna go, let's make sure, yep, I have that on. I'm just gonna go in, oops, and I did too much. Kind of blur out some of this. And I like the colors here and there, but let's just see what happens. And I'll take some of this yellow. And I can also add a filter on top of this. So that's kind of blocking out my color. And now if I go to this adjustment, let's see, yes, the adjustment, I have this one, this blur I want to use. And if I slide, I can adjust how much blur I want. So I like a little detail, but not a lot of detail. I think that's pretty good. Okay, and then maybe I want a little more black involved, and I will say that's good. Let's do my airbrush again. Maybe let's do a little more splatter, and I want a darker color. Okay. Oh, that's a little too splattery. Go back. Okay, so I think that's interesting, and I can play with it more later. But what I want to do is import this into my rendering. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my rendering, and I'm going to create a layer. So I'm all the way down below my sketch layer, and I want to add. And on this layer, I'm going to insert photo. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to go back to this rendering I was working on. So I'm going to go here and do copy canvas. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my rendering, make sure I'm on that layer, and I'm going to go paste. Okay, so pasted it in, but since it's all the way in the back layer, it is showing through all of my rendering, which I'll have to go in and delete it. Okay, and I can go back and fix it. I think right now that's pretty good, and the last thing I can do is go to my background layer that I have, and I want to lighten the opacity. Okay, so it's even softer, but it still has that sense of a rainy street. And now I need to go in, and on that same background layer, I'm going to erase. And I want to make sure I have a hard edge, and I'm gonna make it bigger, and I'm making sure it's at 100%. Let's see. Yeah, so now I can go through and erase all of the parts of this background that are on my rendering. And I can get closer to the edge later on. I'll just go through and kind of clean it up. Okay, so I've cleaned up everything and got rid of the background on the rendering, and I just want to now emphasize the floor because she's not standing on anything. So I want to grab the background layer, which I'm on right now, and I want to mask out the feet so I don't color them. So I'm going to take the selection tool. I'm just going to go like this and try to avoid the feet. And I'm going to go in this big broad area. Now what I want to do is take my paintbrush and let's select this gray, but I want to go dark with it. And maybe there's another kind of tool I could use. The spray paint was pretty good. But, you know, just play around, see if you like anything. Let's try this one. Not dark enough. Because that layer is, I made it less opaque. It's lighter now. It's gonna be kind of hard to get the right color, even though it's on black right now. So what I might need to do is go on to another layer. So I could create a new layer. And let's just do, I'm gonna go back and pick the airbrush. And you know, that's probably too dark, but that's okay. It gives me a starting spot, and I'll go back to this and I'll make it bigger. And because I have this edge selected, it's not going to go beyond there, so it made this pretty weird looking blob, but that's okay. Let's try to fix it. And then, so I think this is looking really good. And I just want to add just a little more sharper line down at the bottom. I just like to add a little more detail. So it still looks like she's floating to me. So I want to add just like more of a sketchy pencil line. Oops. And because I didn't mask out the feet, of course, I drew on it. There, that's my rendering, and I can put it into Photoshop and add type onto it, give it a title, and I can go right now and do a signature. So that's my rendering.